Доброе утро.
Good morning.
Greetings from Hagerstown, Maryland.
Приветствую вас из Hagerstown, штат Мэриленд.
It's always a pleasure to be here with the people of God in Utica.
Для меня очень приятно быть с народом Божьим здесь, в Ютике.
It's been a little while since my wife and I have been here, but thankful to be back again on this beautiful Lord's Day.
Да, уже немножко время пришло, как мы с женой были здесь. И слава Богу, мы можем быть сегодня в этот день Господень.
I have a recitation that I would like to do this morning,
У меня есть стих, которым я хочу поделиться утром.
but I wanted to try to explain the story behind it.
Но я хочу сказать о той предыстории, которая ему предстоит,
so that more of you can understand.
чтобы вы прочувствовали это и поняли.
Every year, many of the Israelites would go, during Passover, would go to Jerusalem to give sacrifice.
Каждый год народ израильский направлялся в Иерусалим, чтобы принести жертвоприношение.
And at this particular time, a man named Simon of Cyrene,
И вы помните Симона,
he was taking his two sons with him,
Симон взял двух сыновей своих и направился.
and they were bringing a little lamb to sacrifice to
Они
God.
взяли этого агнца и направили, чтобы совершить жертвоприношение.
But when they reached the city, they saw something was not right.
Но когда они приблизились к городу, они увидели, что что-то необычное происходит.
And they found themselves standing in a crowd of angry people.
И они нашли себя среди возмущающихся людей.
And pretty soon they saw three men come that were being led to Calvary.
И
Golgotha.
они увидели трех человек, которые направлялись на Голгофу вместе с этой толпой.
And of course, Jesus was one of those men.
И вы знаете, что Иисус был один из них.
And when he fell, then a Roman soldier took this Simon and said, "You carry his cross."
И когда Иисус упал под тяжестью креста, один из римских солдат позвал Симона и дал ему, чтобы он донес этот крест.
And then they were led on to Calvary, and there Jesus was crucified.
И так они шли на место распятия, там, где Господь наш и пострадал.
But then this Simon's children were crying because they lost the little lamb that they had brought with them.
Но дети Симона, они плакали, так как они утратили этого маленького ягненка, который был вместе с ними.
But that's when Simon explained to them that the lamb was Jesus up there on the cross. He is our lamb.
И в этой истории Симон объяснил им, что настоящий агнец есть Иисус, который в этой истории был распят.
And I am so thankful that I don't have to bring a lamb here today to sacrifice.
И я очень благодарен, что мне сегодня не нужно этого маленького агнца приносить сегодня для жертвоприношения.
Jesus died once for all mankind.
Иисус умер однажды за всех людей земли.
And that included me, and I'm so thankful.
И это включает меня. Я за это чрезмерно благодарен.
Walking on the road to Jerusalem, the time had come to sacrifice again. My two small sons walked behind me on the road. The reason that they came was to watch the lamb. Daddy, Daddy, what will we see there? There's so much we don't understand. So I told them of Moses and Father Abraham. And I said, dear children, watch the Lamb. There will be so many in Jerusalem today. We must be sure that our Lamb doesn't run away. I told them some more of Moses and more of Abraham. And I said again, dear children, watch the Lamb. When we finally reached the city, I knew something must be wrong. There were no joyful worshipers, no joyful worship songs. I stood there with my children in the midst of angry men. And then I heard the crowd cry out, crucify him! We tried to leave the city, but we couldn't get away. Forced to play in this drama a part I did not wish to play. Why upon this day were men condemned to die? And why were we standing there where soon they would pass by? I looked and said, even now they come. The first one asked for mercy. The people gave him none. The second one was violent. He was arrogant and loud. I still can hear his angry voice screaming at the crowd. Then someone said, there's Jesus. And I scarce believed my eyes. A man so badly beaten, he barely looked alive. Blood poured from his body, from the thorns on his brow, running down the cross and falling to the ground. I watched him as he struggled. I watched him as he fell. The cross came down upon his back, and the crowd began to yell. In that moment, I felt such agony. In that moment, I felt such loss. And then a Roman soldier grabbed my arm and said, you, carry his cross. At first, I tried to resist him, but his hand reached for his sword. So I knelt down and took the cross from the Lord. I placed it on my shoulder and started down the street. The blood that he'd been shedding was now running down my cheek. They led us to Golgotha. They drove nails deep in his feet and hands. And yet, upon the cross, I heard him pray, Father, forgive them. Oh, never have I seen such love in any other eyes. Into thy hands I commit my spirit, he prayed. And then he died. I stood there for what seemed like years. I'd lost all sense of time until I felt two tiny hands holding tight to mine. My children stood there weeping, and I heard the oldest say, Father, please forgive us. But our little lamb, it ran away. Daddy, Daddy, what have we seen here? There's so much that we don't understand. So I took them in my arms. We turned and faced the cross. And I said, dear children, watch the Lamb. Behold the Lamb of God, who taketh away the sins of the whole world.
Слава Богу, братья и сестры. Я заметил так по залу, даже по молодежи, что такая атмосфера, знаете, такого внимательного слушания и рассуждения над теми событиями, которые происходят.